Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project Magnetic Reversal News, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, February 27th, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. 2.1 million animals in Mongolia have died of extreme cold. Holy macaroni. Keep calm. It's boom time. Tornadoes possible in Illinois as powerful cold front drops record temps. A 20 to 30 degree temperature drop will occur over the course of just an hour Tuesday night, with possible damaging winds and hail and, well, severe weather all around, as Indy breaks record high temperatures but could see the global warming goodness right in the face in a few hours. Heavy snow has stopped falling in Saskatchewan, but parts of the province remain in extreme cold, and we're talking wind chill risks of minus 40 degrees tonight, so heed the warnings. Severe storms in the Midwest and Ohio Valley, strong winter storm in the west, critical fire weather in the plains. Severe storms capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes, some of which could be strong, will be possible in the Midwest and Ohio Valley through tonight. A strong winter storm continues to produce impacts across the West, including heavy snow, gusty winds, and rain. It's insane. Critical fire conditions will continue across the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma this evening as one of the largest wildfires in Texas history hits the region. Yes, it's true. The smokehouse fire currently ongoing in Texas, the nexus of the schmexus, is now at 200,000. Yes, 200,000 acres burned and increasing. It's now the sixth largest fire in Texas state history per Texas A&M Forest Service. And it is currently 0% contained. Yeah, it's insane. GFS model showing those systems moving through the east over the next few days here through Thursday, and another system dropping into the Pacific Northwest to bring heavy snow to the Sierra Crest and the Four Corners region. Let's take a look at those snowfall totals, shall we? Here, we'll walk it through. Here is Wednesday through Thursday morning. That is the snow that will be on the ground by Thursday morning in the next 24 hours. Looks like snow showing up in southern Arizona as well as New Mexico. Good news there. Here is Thursday through Friday and to the beginning of the weekend. Heavy snow moving into the Pacific Northwest, bringing 16 to 3 feet of snow for Washington State. Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, that will be a fun day. This is going to be a record weekend snow for the Sierra Crest, Four Corners. Looks like western Wyoming, as well as most of Idaho, could be picking up some record numbers. So we're going to keep a close eye on these numbers as the snowfall piles up early in spring. Dang, dang. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore is not happy about the totals. Well, if Al Gore is not happy about the totals in North America, he's certainly not going to be happy about the totals in Europe. Take a look at this. It looks like the UK is going to be smothered in the global warming goodness over the weekend. By Monday morning, look at this. It's going to be Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, most of the UK is going to be covered in the global warming goodness and heavy snow for the Alps, as well as most of Russia. But I do digress. Heavy snow coming to regions in Europe, well, that claim that global warming is devoid of snow, when it couldn't be further from the truth. 2.1 million animals in Mongolia have died of extreme cold. At least 2 million animals have died in Mongolia in the past year, in this winter specifically, due to extreme winters, a government official revealed recently. Temperatures in the landlocked country can go as low as minus 50 degrees C between December and March, threatening animals and the vast biodiversity that is contained within. But the United Nations said a recent wave of extreme cold has not been seen ever before in the past. What say you? Grand solar minimum much? Certainly not global warming, but 2.1 million died last year. The France 24 News reported that 2.1 million livestock had died from starvation and exhaustion out of 64.7 million animals in the entire country. A significant number. And according to the UN report, claim the extreme winters known as the droogte in the local language makes it harder for animals to find pastures, eventually leading them to die in a food shortage. We predicted this almost a decade ago, and we are revealing the facts that there will be extreme swings between hot and cold, and extreme cold in localized areas causing crop loss and famine. Seismic update, a few interesting low-level quakes, including additional aftershocks in the Smiths Ferry, Idaho region, as well as quakes in Europe, including a 4.5 in Lampeski, Turkey, at just 6.9 kilometers, as well as a 4.3 in Kyrgyzstan. Overall, low-level activity in the Ring of Fire and worldwide, which is good news. As we take a close look over at the Reykjanes Peninsula, waiting for the imminent eruption, as well as the people there, increased likelihood of an eruption in the coming days. Magma accumulation continues under Svartsengi. Here we're looking at the Grindavik seismic tremor. You see a pickup here just a few days ago over on the 26th, and it's continuing for the last 72 hours. So hours of powers, and we're waiting for a tick to go above the 5,000 mark to start the eruption. As New Zealand begins sentencing those involved in the White Island volcanic eruption. Now, do you believe that there are courts that can cause humans to be liable for, natural disasters? I don't know if this really holds water, but I do digress. I think that holding people accountable for natural disasters because they own the land beneath the feature is kind of ludicrous. But in this case, the people on the island knew that there was elevated tremor, and they should have, in fact, not allowed tourists to come there. So it might have been a question of greed over safety. Now, intense activity continuing over Popocatépetl in Mexico as Halo continues to bark in the background. Take a look at this amazing ash display. This has been ongoing over the last week. An increased activity at Popo has caused massive amounts of ash to be exhumed from the volcano itself and now being deposited on communities below. Spectacular footage here coming from Nerica. Worldwide volcano news update. Liwotolo, lesser Sunda Islands in Indonesia. Eruption continues with lava flow on the southern flank. Worldwide activity for other volcanoes. Pretty normal as we go. Swanosima puffing and passing the 7,000. Popo puffing to 22,000 feet as we just saw. Santa Huito to 14. Marapi puffing to 15,000 today. What else do we have here on the list? Fuego to 17. Tucona to 8. Popo continuously to 22. Who knew? Now you do. Space weather news update for February 28th. All is quiet on the Western Front for the last several days. Nothing above sea level. And the large sunspots are now moving away from Earth-facing quiet, which means that these will probably flare up. This active region will soon be delivering X-flares away from Earth. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet on the Western Front moving forward. As Science Alert claims, an El Nino 80 years ago sparked the retreat of Antarctica's doomsday glacier. Now, I thought that it was our fault that the doomsday glacier was melting and that Antarctica was melting. It was all our fault. But apparently, something got through the cracks here as they are now relating El Nino to the retreat of Antarctica's doomsday glacier. Regardless, none of this will cause rapid sea level rise or a doomsday anytime soon. What is a doomsday is the food we eat. Lead-tainted applesauce highlights failings in the food safety system, including the change from Monsanto to the moniker Bayer in the most recent years. But I do digress. Hundreds of American children were poisoned last year with lead. Records show how time and again the contamination went unnoticed because the FDA has a revolving door with Big Ag, and the food you eat is not even food for sheep. Quaker Oats class action alleges products contain high levels of pesticides and are making your children gay. Hey, hey. Not only that, the most toxic food product in the food stream is Cheerios and Goldfish. They have more glyphosate than the actual crops. But I do digress. Grow your own food. And now there is a surprising link found between niacin and the risk of heart attacks and stroke. Breakdown products of niacin, aka vitamin B3, may spur vascular inflammation and death. Holy macaroni. What are we eating? In the early 20th century, the deadliest nutrient-related disease in U.S. history ravaged the American South, pellagra. A disease caused a deficiency in niacin or tryptophan, is marked by the 4 Ds, diarrhea, dermatitis that leads to gruesome skin plaques or plagues, dementia, and death. At its peak during the Great Depression, pellagra nearly 7,000 Southerners a year between 1906 and 1940s succumbed to the disease. Researchers estimate that the epidemic struck nearly 3 million Americans, killing 100,000. And what's it all about? It's about a deficiency, yes, in vitamins. Now, the study led by Stanley Hansen, chair of cardiovascular and metabolic sciences at Cleveland's Clinic Lerner Research Institute, connected high blood levels of a breakdown product of niacin, and to a lesser extent tryptophan, to an elevated risk of major adverse cardiovascular events, meaning you're dead. And this elevated risk appears to be independent of known risk factors for those events, such as high cholesterol, which is another fraud, but that's a whole nother podcast. So if you're interested in this topic, the article will be linked below. Bitcoin passes $57,000 today as BlackRock ETF hits insane record volumes. We've been telling you now for almost a decade to diversify your portfolio as far as precious metals and cryptocurrency. Why? Because when the shift happens, you're going to be left out in the dark, and the shift is hitting the fan, and that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are Shadow Band. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.